ABHISHEK Chandrashekar with us, the co-founder of Royal Brothers. So, sir, can you please share your story?
Hey everyone, happy to meet you. Uh, I would like to share my story how Royal Brothers actually started. 2014, while I was doing my engineering from RV College, we went on a trip. Me and my one of my friends, who is also the co-founder of Royal Brothers. So while our trip, we figured out that we need to rent a motorcycle to commute around Pondicherry, and we tried renting out. We searched on Google. There was one landing page which only had phone number. We tried calling him, and then he asked us to come and wait on the close to the secretariat office, which is on the beach street. And early morning, 6 o'clock, we are waiting on Pondicherry streets, language unknown, waiting for a bike and from an unknown person. So one person arrives, gives us the bike, takes the money. There is no receipt given, and the one crazy statement that he makes is, "If the cops catches you, please give me a call. I'll help you out," because the vehicle was not commercially registered. So that gave us a little of worry while we were on trip, and there's no acknowledgement that we have received from this guy. So that's where the idea of renting a motorcycle started. Fast forward 2015, we were all thinking about this, and right before I graduated, I had two paths to take: either go do an MBA from Cardiff or start my own business. So we did our basic research about bike rentals in Bangalore, and then we figured out there are not many players purely because the license for renting a motorcycle was not issued by the government of Karnataka or any particular state. Then had to open up the whole motorcycle rule book, did a detailed study, and realized that there is a provision in Indian Motor Vehicles Act that you can rent a motorcycle. So started working on it, worked with the commissioner, and the commissioner was very reluctant of issuing the license. I wouldn't like to name him, but what didn't stop us that particular day was we said, okay, who is going to be above the commissioner, right? So then we got to know that's the minister, and the minister has a transport secretary. So the secretary takes care of the whole state. So we went to the transport secretary, pitched the whole idea, and told him how it is traditionally done, how the taxes are not being collected, and how we could be a revenue generation in terms of bike rentals, and also indirectly adding to the tourism of the state. So he really liked the idea. That very evening, we got an approval in the sense, at least on a prima facie, they made a media statement. The commissioner came out in the media and told that anyone who's looking to rent applied for a motorcycle license would be allotted a motorcycle license. So that's how it started. Started with five motorcycles. Then the next big challenge came in was to how do we get motorcycles? So we started buying them on own, and we made a project plan. Took it to all the banks around that we knew in Bangalore or around our office. Most of them rejected because we are a startup and they don't fund startups. This was back in 2015, and for any banks to actually fund any particular person or a company, there is a minimum requirement of 2 years income tax returns filed, and we frankly didn't have it. And I was just out of college, so I didn't have a PAN card and didn't have a personal income tax also being filed. So then we decided, so we put in the money, we started borrowing money from friends and family and started scaling. Eventually, started going with the same route of getting licenses. Today, we operate in 8 states, with four states having the first licenses. We were the first ones to get it. And then the next big challenge was to how do we scale and how do we automate the process. So we had to build a super solid tech, and we outsourced it to one company. They didn't deliver as promised. Then we had to move to another company. They didn't deliver as promised. So it was still working. So we were able to take bookings and all of it. And eventually we had to build our own team of tech people so that we could scale this business. So we are mostly not a tech company, but we are a tech-driven mobility company, you can say. And eventually, as we scaled, we realized that there is not just weekend rentals that is happening where people are on a trip and renting a motorcycle, but there was a lot of demand for commuter segment. So we started bringing in scooters and other models, and all of that happened. And then we were doing it at a very good scale. We were clocking a revenue of almost 1 CR pre-COVID, that is 2020 February we did 1 CR, 3 consecutive months actually, 19 December, 20 Jan and Feb. And March, we all know what happened. The lockdown happened and there was COVID surge. So we had to rethink our whole strategy and how we were doing business for the past 5 years. So we went back to our drawing books. We came up with a plan where now there's a lockdown and people still want to commute, essentially, especially the healthcare workers and the essential workers. So, and public transportation is going to take a massive hit for the next 2 3 years. That's where we devised something called Royal Brothers X, where you can subscribe a bike for anywhere between 1 month to 9 months, and with the subscription you only pay every month once. So that actually worked for us. We were able to create occupancy for almost 75% of our inventory that was on our platform. Now we are that innovation during COVID-19 has actually helped us survive the second wave, also the recent lockdowns in all the states that we were operating. So we have figured out that 50% of our inventory always has to be on subscription, and we will continue to grow this way. And there are a lot of challenges around what we've built, but one thing that keeps us going is the passion and the attitude of not giving up. That's our story. I would like to answer any questions if you people have, and feel free to shoot.
You all can raise your hands. Okay, I see Praveen raising his hand. You can go ahead with asking your question.
Yes, thank you so much. Hi, Abhishek.
Hi,
So my
Praveen.
question is basically, right now we have a lot of competitors in two-wheeler, especially Rapido, and are they giving a tough job, or like do they have a separate off audience and you have a separate audience? That's my question.
Yeah. So Rapido is not a competition because they are a bike taxi.
Yes.
For someone who is not looking to have personal mobility is when you prefer Rapido. But we all know what has happened in the last 2 years. People are shying away from taking a cab or sharing a cab or even sharing a motorcycle like Rapido, right?
Yes.
So that is something that was actually a good opportunity for us to capture. And we have Bounce and Vogo, which are not direct competition, but an indirect competition. That's where we operate in macro mobility space, where it is mostly a long-term rental, which is 1 day or above. But with Bounce and Vogo, it is mostly lesser than 1 hour or 2 hours. So that's how we differentiate, and we have a different clientele as well. So 30% of our customers are today are essentially the explore customers who contribute to 50% of the revenue. So they take a bike on a weekend, they need a jacket, they need maybe all the riding accessories, and they are adventure seekers. So we are building a product around that, and also we have commute segment, which is in a way close competition to Bounce and Mogo because we are also in the commuting segment.
Sure.
I
Thank you.
hope you. I hope I answered your question.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Someone else had a question. Piyush.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Piyush.
As challenges are a part of our life, sir, and you said
Yeah.
that you face the challenges. My question is not related to the industrial world because your idea is unique, and I know that this idea will grow up in very much. But the thing is, sir, I want to know if every door is closed, then still how to find the way that we come out from that room, because each and every doors are closed. Sometimes it happens, sir, that we don't have any other option, just to give up. Still, how to find out that thing, sir?
So, see, basically there are certain situations, right? Like when we were scaling and two of other companies were raising massive amounts of money. All of us were in the rental space, but we were not able to raise capital because the hottest thing that point of time was the last mile connectivity. But we were focused on long-term rentals, right? So this was one of the barriers that we had at least. So just imagine in 2019 or 20, we have just raised 1 million and the competition has raised 100 million. So imagine the feeling of like 100x power to your competition. So what we did was we took a foot forward and told ourselves that let them build what they're doing. They're great at what they're doing. We are great at something that we are doing because customers are coming to us. So let's figure out profitability. So if you know, all of our Indian startups are mostly focused on growth and not profitability. we took a stand saying that we'll become more sustainable commuting or mobility company. Today, I can proudly say that we are the most sustainable bike rental company in the industry with the very good positive unit economics. And we have proven 2 consecutive years we have proven EBITDA positive, which none of the other guys have done it at a scale. So, answering to your question, that you will always feel that particular situation, I would always suggest you to have mentors on board who are essentially startup founders or people who have built massive companies. They can actually help you out, actually help you come out of this particular situation. So always be networking, talk to people. I think you will find a solution. There is nothing that you will never have all the doors shut.
Okay, sir. Thank you for really motivating like this.
Thank you.
Simran, you can go ahead with asking your question.
Hello, sir. I just have a random situation for you. If your
Yeah.
customer meets with an accident, so how do your company address it? Like,
See, the first thing that we have as a protocol, I will go in detail with operations. When customer reports an accident, the first thing that any of our executives will check is if the customer is safe and how is he feeling. And the first preference will be if there is a major accident and the customer has to move to the hospital, we'll immediately get that done and we'll ask them to leave the vehicle on the road. It's okay, no problem. Leave the vehicle, get to the hospital, get treated, or we can arrange for an ambulance. The next thing is we get the insurance claim. So during 2015, when we started, we didn't have insurance for commercial two-wheelers. There was insurance for commercial cars, but there was no two-wheeler insurance. So we had to actually work with the insurance companies to create this policy. Today, it is mostly common, but this was one of the things that we broke in 2015, and kind of it's mostly the insurance claim that takes care of everything, and the insurance covers the bike and the customer both.
good to know that. Thank you, sir.
No worries.
Darsh, you can ask your question.
Yes. So my question is, like you said, you are the most sustainable business in the industry,
Correct.
and you also said like we have to at least our 50% of our inventory should be subscribed and at any point of time.
Yeah.
So the sustainability you are talking about is profitability.
Yeah.
Huh. So my question is like there are many cost cutting and inventory control measures. So how you came to know that the minimum subscription should be 50 or 75%
Of
of the
the
inventory?
50%. So
Huh.
that essentially is the number why we came up with 50% is the 50% vehicles which they will generate revenue from the subscription model will pay all our fixed costs. So what is our fixed cost is the team. Then we'll have bank EMIs, and then we have rentals. Essentially, if you have used parking place or central office, our server cost, all of it. If all of these costs are covered through the subscription model, the rest of the 50% we can always play around with the pricing. We can drop the pricing. We can increase the pricing based on the demand.
Okay,
So
thank you,
that
sir.
is where we, yeah.
Sahaj, you can ask your question.
Hello, sir. I would like to ask that if you had to pick
Sahaj,
one
there's
of
disturbance from your end. No.
So I would like to ask that if you had to pick one, what would you pick? Like reach profitability or double your valuation first?
It's an interesting question. It differs from founder to founder, but despite being in the industry for the last 6 years, and what we have seen, like where a lot of companies have raised money. So I don't know if you're aware, there was one company which has raised almost $150 million with crazy number of valuation. It was close to $500 million was their valuation, but they got acquired for 40 million, and they were just after the COVID because of the whole profitability and sustainability. But what I understand from this particular market is scale is important. We have to scale, but scale with sustainability is most important because see, it is not a tech company. That's why I mentioned in the beginning itself. It's a tech-driven mobility company. So tech plays an important part, but at the end of the day, the customer is using your bike. That is your product. So tech is not your product, right? So for you to have the vehicle run for at least 3 years in your inventory, you need to make sure the vehicle is in good quality, and that is only achieved if you are charging the right price to the customer. So if you charge the right price, you can maintain the vehicle well, and that delivers in your quality, and also makes your business model sustainable. So I would always take sustainability as the priority one, but also scale is important. That's where you see us operating in 8 states. I hope I answered.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
For the remaining questions, you can put them in the chat box and we'll forward them to sir.
Super.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
guys.
sir, for
Thank you for
joining us
hosting me.
today.
Thank
Yeah.
you,
Take
Abhishek,
care,
for sharing
everyone.
your
All
story.
the best. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Last, I would extend the vote of thanks to the people behind the success of event, beginning with founder Kaushiki, who started the journey of Markoknow with the mission to enable early stage founders with networking. I would like to thank the whole team of Markoknow who worked to bring this event together, helped it run smoothly. A big thanks to the entire team.
I request you all to kindly fill in the feedback form that has been shared in the chat box. Only those people who have participated in the event will be provided with the certificate. So the decision of the organizing members has to be final. Thank you.
We would soon be coming up with premium event, which will have more founders and professionals to network with, and more opportunities to brainstorm on live case studies. If you want to be a part, check our check our link tree. We would be updating about it over there and on the WhatsApp group as well.
We hope that you've made few meaningful connections today. So please don't forget to drop your LinkedIn IDs in the Excel sheet, which will be floated on the WhatsApp group after the event, so you can connect with all the people you've met at the event.
Hope you have loved our event. Signing off, you may leave the meet. Thank you. Bye.
Excuse me. Once again, can you please drop the feedback form in the chat?
You can check the chat box, it's there.
For partnership proposals as well, you can drop us an email. Thank you everyone for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.